changed. And I don't know about you, but if I see gimmicky amateur attention getters in my news feed, I keep scrolling. I roll my eyes and I keep scrolling. And I think a lot of you do too. And we've seen over the years that people who try to do attention getting tactics where they sacrifice their professionalism for just being gimmicky, trying to get attention, it just is worse in every way. All the ad metrics show that, and the ultimate return on ad spend prove that it's just not the thing to do. So what you have to understand is your languaging has to change on Facebook. Now listen to me. Your languaging has to switch from one-on-one conversations to group conversations. People don't want to be called out on Facebook. And I know that everybody teaches you to target your, call out your target market, call out your avatar. But I'm here to tell you there's a way to do that that's not direct and not an invasive and gets your ad marked with all types of negative feedback. Okay. The other thing is for you copywriters, the traditional power words you've been taught that are your go-to words when you really need to pack a punch in your copy, they do not work like they used to. I'm going to prove that. Okay. And how I do that is this. A lot of you have heard of these two companies, HubSpot, which is a company that does, all kinds of service as a software, CRM, landing page builder, email, all that, right? And then Outbrain, which is an ad network, which is those articles that you see at the bottom of lots of web pages, articles, news articles, blogs that basically say you may also be interested in, and it has all of these what look like articles, and they're actually ads, okay? Now, they did a study, and they studied specifically the headline click rates, how many people click on it per 100 people, right? So let's say that 2 out of 100 people will click on one of those articles below on any website inside that network, in Outbrain's network, which they have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of different web pages that their ads show up, right? And what happened is they were studying the words that were inside the headlines. And what they found is that anytime these traditional power words that copywriters are taught were in the headlines, it decreased the click rate, which told us, well, that's pretty simple. One can surmise that they're not working because people are over those words. They're inoculated, they're immunized from these words because they see it as hype. I'll just break down a few of these for you. Anytime someone said the word magic, it was minus 59%. So that means, let's say if it was a 1% average click rate where they saw the ad and 1 out of 100 times somebody clicks. When they hit minus 59%, that means that they're only clicking like 41.41% of the time. It cut the click rate in half. The same thing happened with the word tip, minus 59. And the word credit, minus 58. The word cure, minus 49. The word simple, minus 49. The word how to, okay? A lot of you, your go-to thing is how to, right? Minus 49%. It basically cut the amount of people who clicked on it in half from the average the year before, okay? So we hit a critical point where people are just over these hype words, right? And these words that have been overused that sound and look like ads and marketing, which on social media, you never want that, okay? So the word easy, minus 44%. The word need, minus 44. The word free, minus 41. And see, here's the funny thing. Just as one of our clients told us last week, they were like, everyone teaches you to give away some free thing at first. And in fact, it's counting against you now. It's worse, right? The word why, minus 37. Reader ref, that's weird. The word trick, minus 26. Amazing. Everyone likes to say amazing, right? Minus 24%. So basically cut it in 1/4. The word secret, minus 23%. Now, you may ask me, you may wonder like, well, Chris, do you ever use these words? Yes, I do. But I don't usually use them in headlines, and I use them within the proper context. When used within the proper context, they don't seem hypey or spammy. I'm going to teach you about that context and how we target and how we actually get high click rates with our ads, okay? So just to understand, for you copywriters out here, this is the issue. And the other thing about that is simply this. Traditional copywriting is meant to give a big promise or a big claim. lose 10 pounds in 7 days, or, make money online, or, have this benefit, in this many days. Here's the problem. That's what all traditional copywriters teach, because that used to work on sales letters. But the problem is Facebook does not allow you to make claims that can't be substantiated. Now, what do I mean by unsubstantiated claims? What I mean by unsubstantiated claims is simply this, okay? According to the Federal Trade Commission in the States, which is where Facebook gets its policy, all right, an unsubstantiated claim is one that means not 100% of your clients will ever get that. The only type of claim you can give is what's called a substantiated claim, which means 100% of the people who buy your product will inevitably, if they consume the product, will have that same experience. Okay? So all of the exceptions in terms of a client result or a customer result or testimonial, even those things are not allowed, because what Facebook sees is you're promising a result to somebody that you can't back up 100% of the time. Let me know if that makes sense in the chat. Just say yes if it makes sense for an unsubstantiated claim. Okay. All right. Cool, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Right on. Okay. So you don't want to have unsubstantiated claims. I'm going to show you how to write ads that don't have unsubstantiated claims but are just as powerful today. All right. So stick with me. All right. So ultimately, what does it mean? What does it mean that these words are not working? Because even on social media, now some of you may argue, well, Chris, that study was done on web pages, not on Facebook. I would agree with you, but here's my question. Do you actually think that using those words on social media are going to get you a better result, when in fact people in the comments can call you out for being unauthentic and hypey, which they do all the time? Of course not. So it's even worse on Facebook for you to use those ads. And this is why we see so many ads burn out so fast, is because people are using this languaging because they're hyping things. They're trying to sell things. And that's not what it's about. An ad, newsflash, should not look like an ad. I'm going to show you how, okay? So you do not have to hire a copywriter to have successful Facebook ads that convert. And in fact, it makes it worse because you do not have to give outrageous claims or promises that make you feel salesy, okay? This is why most ads burn out and don't work, because they get a high negative feedback because people are trying too freaking hard, all right? So here's the other thing. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, Chris, I've listened to other people who've made a lot of money in agencies or as their gurus, so to speak, and trainers, and they tell me to do these things. So why are you saying it shouldn't work? And what I'm saying is they're parlaying off their reputation. They made it in the old traditional internet where you had web pages before it was a pre-social media internet. They didn't make their first money, they didn't make that in social media. Now, because they have this credibility, people believe it on social media, and people think that that's what they have to do. But what it is, it's a case of the blind leading the blind. That guru that made money back in 2007 from different methods is now doing Facebook, parlaying their result. Hey, let me teach you. I've made all this money. I'm so great. I'm a celebrity. I'm a legend. And then what they're doing is crap, which kind of works for them because they have all this credibility behind them and people are like, wow, they must be successful. But in fact, it's because of their credibility, not the method. So if you are not a guru or fully, celebrity, crazy, famous, right, with tons of credibility and expert authority, then let me show you a method that doesn't require that. How about that? Okay. So that's my thought on it. All right. So let's do it. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. 80 and 92 marketing is still being used today. Exactly, Pedro. Yep. Love it. Croc part of the brain. Today have evolved. Old words trigger fight and flight. Exactly, Pedro. I get it. Yep. You're saying we need to teach the robot. Tom, you're right. Yep. And we're going to do that. Yes. So love the interaction, everybody. Love it, love it, love it. Keep it coming and convert me. So here, real quick before we move on. All right. I need, let's do this. I'm going to go to the next slide, which is just, we've talked about this. So I'm going to move beyond this real fast, but tell me this in the slides. Okay. In the slides, in the chat. One, if you're here and your ads are burning out and you place ads and you're not getting a return on investment, one, your ads are not getting a return on investment, or you're getting a good result for a little while, but then the ad burns out after a few days or a week. If that's you, put a 1, okay? So that would be you. Now, if you're getting results using Facebook ads, I got 3, I got between 1 and 3 to do here. So if you're a 1, quick recap, if you're a 1, put in the chat 1 if your ads are not working, you can't get them to work, or if they work temporarily, but then they don't stick around. They don't continue to do well and your cost goes way up or you stop getting impressions. If that's you, put a 1 in the chat, okay? If you're getting results, but you're pretty much just breaking even and you can't seem to get past breaking even, or you're making just a little bit, but over time your ads are burning out and you can't sustain with your ads, then that's 2. Okay, so 2 is your ads are working, but you're not kind of getting the results you want. And if you try to spend more, or if they just don't last, right? So that's 2. If you're getting some results, but your results don't last, okay? And number 3 is you're getting good results, you're making a profit with your ads, but anytime you try to spend more and scale and make more, your margins disappear and you get back to break even, or you even lose money because you can't seem to scale properly. Now that's going to be number 3. So number 3 is to annotate, if you are making money with your ads but you try to scale and spend more and you lose all your margins and you can't seem to get past spending a certain amount, then that's 3. And put 3 in the chat, okay? So that's what I want to know. I just kind of want to get a gauge for who's here so I can kind of tailor this to all of you who need it, okay? And guys, you may want to re-sign in as a name rather than guest, because I don't know who you are. And so if you go down and click on the chat role, like sign out and then sign back in the chat role section, and actually give us your name so I can respond to you, because I don't know what your name is, and I want to be able to talk to you like a normal human being, right? So Gina, I write my ads similar to how you suggest, but I want to blow up my biz, scale. But there you go. All right, so you're 3, right on. Okay, let's do it. All right. So Lisa's got 2 to 3. Okay. I wonder if that's the Lisa I'm thinking it is. Someone I may have had a quick conversation with yesterday, possibly. Okay. So yeah, guys, go ahead and get your go ahead, sign in so I know who you are, so I can see your name. All right, so you may have to sign out first and then create a quick chat role account, which way better, okay? All right, so 5 fallacies of Facebook ads, right? We've been through this, everybody's seen this. Aiming for the cheapest lead, you're gonna find out why that's a crock, okay? You're gonna find out measuring by cost per click is useless. It works for traditional direct response, but not anywhere else. The shorter the ad, the better, right? Which is a crock as well. That's just not the case, and in fact works against you. And then optimizing for the next step, which sometimes that's a part of it, but it's not the whole picture. That's not all you have to do, okay? And then the whole attention getting pattern interrupt thing, where most people are very gimmicky about it, and I'm going to show you how to not be gimmicky and actually be professional about it and not turn people off, okay? So, all right, Lisa. Okay, cool. Yeah. I was talking with another Lisa on the phone yesterday. So, okay, so understand this. Facebook is not a one-on-one conversation. You're talking directly to a group of people like you're at a party, okay? So I want you to imagine yourself standing at a party and there's 5 people standing around you in a circle. The way you would talk to them where you're not talking directly to anybody, but you're actually just saying, someone may have been like, so what do you do? And you're like, well, I do this. This is how, like you're a real estate agent. You're like, look, here's how the market is right now. It's kind of like this and like this. And, here's what we're experiencing. Like you're talking in a second person narrative where you are not talking directly to one person, but you're talking to a group of people. So you can't be using the word you a lot and try to ask them specific questions. Okay. All right. So here's why. So our golden social rule of engagement, a lot of you have seen this when we showed the curriculum for the class. Our golden social rule of engagement is this: never start your ad with a direct self-identification question. Why is that? Because what that does is it causes people to feel like you're calling them out, and they don't know why you're calling them out yet. And so they don't know the value you have to offer. So because of that, they mark your ad as not relevant or hide the post, which signals feedback to the algorithm saying this is not a good user experience for people, and this is the main culprit as to why your ads don't continue to get impressions and why your costs go up, because your scores, your engagement scores, your quality scores start to go down from all of that negative feedback, okay? So stuff like attention business owners, first off, you look like everybody else when you do stuff like this. Are you a music artist, or hey, influencers, or looking to sell your home if you're a real estate agent? First off, it's not a one-on-one conversation. So talking like this is the biggest mistake that people make right away, is they try to talk directly to people and they turn people off and get a low quality score on their ad. Let me illustrate what I mean by this, all right? So let's say I'm not a real estate agent. I was back when I was in my 20s, but I haven't been one for over 10 years. It's actually been 10 years now, so that's crazy, right? And now, but I get this in my newsfeed. Agents, team leads, brokers, all of that, right? Here's the exact ad targeting, like they started out calling me as an agent or a team lead or a broker. I'm none of those things. So what happens right away is that I'm either reporting the ad or hiding the ad because I'm marking it as irrelevant, or that hey guys, this is not me. Either way, what happens is people report negative feedback, and then your ad score goes down. And you understand this: every time your ad is shown to somebody, it competed in an auction. There's hundreds of thousands of millions of auctions happening every single day on the Facebook ad platform. Every single placement has an auction to it. And what happens is your auction, you're not bidding just with your money. I want you all to understand that. You're not bidding just with your money. You're bidding based on your quality scores and your money, okay? So your quality scores and engagement scores are an important part that will help you win auctions for cheaper instead of paying a lot more. So that's how your ad costs go down and your cost per 1,000 impressions go down, is because the quality, you get a lot of positive feedback, you get a lot of engagement, you get a lot of comments, you get a lot of likes, you get a lot of shares, because your ad is educational. It gives value, okay, in one way or another, okay? That's super, super, super important for you to understand. Do you guys all get that? Let me know in the chat, all right? I know, love it. Yeah, Gina, I agree. And everyone does this. So cheesy. Yeah, you don't want to look like everybody else, So guest 4800. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's having some tough difficulties there. We're gonna probably migrate from this eventually. Learned a few lessons here on these live streams. So understand this. We don't ever want to ask our prospects to decide if they want to pay attention. That's the other thing, the super important thing. If you're asking them a question like, hey, looking to sell your home, then what you're doing is you're giving your power to them to decide to listen to you. And you don't ever want to give your power to them. You want to have a powerful statement that they cannot help but listen to because it's relevant to them, okay? Now, in the real estate example, right? Because we're working with that at the moment. And this could be for even physical products, right? If you're talking about specifically like, here's why homeowners, don't sell their home, then all of a sudden, if you're looking to sell your home, you want to pay attention to that ad. But I didn't call you out directly. I didn't try to be invasive to where you start to market as, no, that's not relevant to me. Why are you talking to me? even if I am, I don't want to be bugged. It's like when you go into a mall and you're looking at shoes, and you don't want those salesmen to come around and bug you until you've found the shoe that you want to try on. Then you're like, well, where the heck are all these salesmen at, right? But you need to have you got to know what you want first. And in the ad, we got to give you what you want first rather than trying to talk directly to you. Does that make sense? All right. I tune out as soon as I can smell marketing in any ad. It's off-putting. Exactly, Mona. Exactly. All right. Pedro, aha moment. Right on. Glad you guys are tracking with me. Stay with me. Okay. So we got a lot here. Got a lot left, right? Okay. So what we want to do is, it's like if you're at a party and you're walking by somebody. Let's say, you know, you're in the market and you're looking to buy a home, and you've just been thinking about it. You're in the stage where you're like, I'd like to, but I need to get more information about it. And all of a sudden, you know, you walk by and you hear a guy that's clearly a real estate agent saying like, look, you know, here's what's going on in the market right now. You know, here's what buyers have to look at because it's a buyer's market. So they have this advantage and this advantage. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, and you stop and you back up and you lean in and you kind of like lend your ear in, and you kind of like come over and maybe you kind of lend your ear over somebody's shoulder, and now you're in the circle. And what happens is that when you come at people that way, then people start to pay attention, and they're not off-put by you trying to talk directly to them and sounding like everybody else. So they're already turned off, right? It's like 90% of ads I see are done that it shoots themselves in the foot, which is why most ads burn out and don't sustain. Okay. We have ads that have ran for 6, 7, 8 months straight with multiple clients. Okay. The only reason they turned it off is when they ran out of inventory. Okay.